hope this will be a fruitful discussion where we can exchange views, even though we may possibly disagree with some. I hope this session it would be on record and can be directly sourced to His Excellency, the Foreign Minister.
Not Iran's, and I would call it primitive nuclear program. That's something else, that's something needs to be prevented, but what also needs to be addressed with the same importance is Iran's relations with its neighbors and taking that relations in a better direction. And if we leave it that way, we will not be solving any problems in the Middle East. But in that regard, we do wholeheartedly support it. However, it's important to realize that it's now we are entered a new era in the region with our international allies to do our part in this. This is joined in the conversation, and were there even when the agreement was signed in the presence of the late custodian King Abdullah in Riyadh when Ali Abdullah Saleh was moved from power. Yemen that we used to know. And I had a conversation with a high Yemeni official, he was visiting Bahrain. We wanted Yemen to stabilize, and we didn't want any party to dominate the others. The Houthis are Yemenis. So this is our commitment. That takes us, I know I'm kind of putting a lot and taking some time, brings us to Syria and Iraq. People were, running a daily, normal life in their country, and look what they for Syria. They'll have to all come to the table. But there's one point that we will need to say is that the problem in Syria is not only ISIS. ISIS came, or Daesh came and filled a void. And do their operations together, and let's see also some political effort that would help the envoy, Mr. Stefan de Mistura, in his effort to bring everybody together. Other than that, we will only see continued fighting, and we will only see a quagmire that will remind us of the situation in Afghanistan, and we will also anticipate a major problem similar to that one, helpful. And they have to move carefully with the National Guard plan and make it more of a, units under one command rather than have National Guard for Anbar or National Guard for here and there.
Any plans to start purchasing the Iron Dome type anti-missile missiles to protect you from what you say is this threat coming from Iran?
For a missile defense system with them in this regard to protect. Well, there is an Israeli Iron Dome and there is a dome that would fit our
intervention in Syria. Do you think it's going to contribute to an escalation of the crisis?
It will only have, entrench a civil war in that country and entrench a foreign intervention, or it will, if it comes together with the international allies, like for example the United States and the European countries, it will make sure.
Stalemate, essentially. Are you going to take some? If the Houthis don't actually concede, make the concessions necessary for a lasting peace.
The Gulf, the alliance comprising of GCC countries and others are there to help the Yemeni people and to make sure that there are no high casualties.
I mean, sir, I think the key thing is to where do you see that? How do you see that happening in sort of rapid time?
Well, we all aim to get to the political track. We understand, but let me tell you about the blockades of the ports. The Houthis and their allies are there, and for example, Hodeidah and other ports. Hodeidah is the main port of Sana'a. They will not want any of
in the Middle East, whether it's in your country or Iraq, or whether it's in Syria or with Hezbollah I've seen other cities, Sunnis are deliberately being pushed out of Syria, and in return are being filled in with Shiites from Afghanistan and wider field. So when there is a transition period, there'll be more of the Shiites and the Sunnis will have been pushed out of Syria. Is there some credibility?
They will want to wreak havoc and support proxies and pay money here and there. Is the one suffering from a much lesser, much cheaper weapon, which is explosives and Kalashnikovs. This is something that will keep instability with Iran going for a long time to happen. So this is something that is highly, highly appreciated. But we do know, and our allies realize that this is something now which is a
have to address with respect to problems, with respect to policies within the religion.
the Shia conflict. But so far, and thanks God, this has failed in Bahrain. And if you look at the situation in some of the countries near us, we say that we should, strive and do our best in keeping it that way. If we would allow a sectarian divide to evolve, this is part of an effort to topple a government. Hello?
Could you, in return is great, and just be working it out in terms of the stars.
Khalid, hi, how are you?
How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. What a pleasure. Thank you.
Come on in.
Please, please. After you.
Please.
Thank you.
New ambassador? Yes. Hello, pleased to meet you.
Please.